So at the beginning, it was great because we tasted success and it felt like we were the darlings of the tech ecosystem. At least in Montreal, everybody was talking about us in the Valley. Some people were as well. And we really felt that we were onto something big. However, when things didn't shape up as well as we thought they would, we felt a lot of confusion, abandonment. We didn't know our place anymore. And especially at the very end of our startup, after our employees had been placed at other companies and we got a soft landing for them, my co-founder and I were suddenly faced with the reality of, well, what does this mean for us? What are we? Are we designers? Are we software developers? Are we product managers? What is our fundamental value? Because all we've been doing up until now has been trying to change things, trying to build a business for ourselves, for our investors, and it's really unclear what skill set we have. So that was a really kind of strange experience after it had failed. And during the whole process, as we were working so hard to make it work, it suddenly became the biggest priority in our lives. And although you could still spend lots of time with family, with friends, you realize that the time you're spending is not really time you're spending with them. You're with your thoughts and your body is with them physically. So you're always absent. Even if you're not checking email or not answering some tweet, your mind is still thinking and strategizing and worried about your bank balance, worried about how to avoid failure. And you're really spending every waking moment thinking about what you can do better. And you feel guilty when you're not actively working on your project. And that's not an easy thing to stomach. So the first thing that I did when I was in this wave was, well, I ignored the pressure that I was actually feeling. I thought that, well, it's just part of the game and I have to do this. This is my job. And I took on more and more of myself because I noticed that when I got involved in doing things, they tended to go better than if I didn't. So what that ended up creating was I became this person who never delegated anything. I wasn't the micromanager, sure, but I just wasn't managing at all. And I was really faced with, being the star founder and having to feel that I was invulnerable. Ultimately, what happened though is this really caught up with me quite hard. I noticed it a lot when I was traveling back between San Francisco and Montreal, that I felt my team get increasingly disconnected from me. I felt my personal relationships and my family relationships start to be really, really strained because I didn't know my own limits. And coming at this a second time and with a team around me that's making things a lot easier, I realize how important it is before you even sit down and start that business to cultivate the relationships of people that are going to help you day one and help you every other step of the way. They might be different people, but I really, the biggest learning that I've learned to cope with things on a psychological side is cultivate that network of people, not just business people, but of friends that have nothing to do with your business, nothing to do with technology, who can actually, love you enough to pull you away from it. It sounds like a little bit of a cliche advice, but ultimately, whether they're sitting next to you working on the business or whether they're helping you over a beer, you need to have that personal connection all the time so you don't get stuck in that bubble and you realize where your limits are and where the rest of the world is actually existing.